I just want to show you something here. This one here. You see that? You know what it looks like? You see her like this? That's what it looks like to me. That's what it looks like to me. She's smiling. I mean, look how it looked like there's a smugness on her face. Look how it look. That's what every time I see that picture, it look like it's saying, fuck you. That's what it looks like. It is outrageous. This con woman we've allowed to come into our country. And she's been conning us since the day she set foot in America. And she was just 9. But she was thinking then and been thinking ever since. Welcome to the TMYK show. I am your host, Mike, better known as Mo. Here's where you get the truth uncut. And we call a spade a spade. We're going to be looking at Ilhan and we're going to be looking at Tampon Tim. They're on the run, people. They know that the walls are closing in on them. And they're coming up with all type of excuses, all type of statements to hopefully get you looking in another direction. But we know it's them. We know that they are very much familiar with, and not just familiar with, but may be a part of the fraud that is taking place in Minnesota. So as always, if you enjoy the content that I bring to you, please like, subscribe, and share. So let's get into this. Ilhan and Tampon Tim.
News alert, a flood of new information is coming out about Minnesota's massive fraud scandal. Each new revelation is fueling more and more demands for answers from Democrat Governor Tim Walz and his administration. The FBI saying it's massing resources to get those answers. This is the Faulkner Focus. Hello, everyone. I'm Julie Banderas, in for Harris today. So an independent journalist is documenting some damning sites at multiple Somali-run childcare centers in Minneapolis. The videos are shocking. They show misspelled signs, boarded up windows, locked doors at no children at the centers that reportedly received millions of dollars in state and federal funding. That journalist is now speaking out about his findings. Watch.
I've known about the fraud taking place for a long time. Minnesotans have been telling me for a long time about the Somali fraud that is taking place. And with his help, we were able to crack over $110 million in fraud in one day. And that's just the tip. When people say it's the tip of the iceberg, it really is, because there's billions of fraud inside the state of Minnesota right now. A kindergartner could figure out that there's fraud going on.
Walz's office pushed back against the videos, saying, quote, the governor has worked for years to crack down on fraud and asked the state legislature for more authority to take aggressive action. He has strengthened oversight, including launching investigations.
And just so you'll know, Tim Walz has been in office since 2018. Since basically 2019, he won in 2018. He is now serving his second term. So how have this been going on so long? And I've done my research, and fraud in Minnesota has been going on reportedly since 2009, since Obama's term. Excuse me. So how has it been able to continue under his time in office? Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
Into these specific facilities, end quote. House Majority Whip and Minnesota Republican Tom Emmer with this.
If what they're saying is real and can be documented, and what they're saying is they told Tim Walz about the fraud when it was happening, and he not only ignored them, he retaliated against him. I'm telling you, Molly, if that's accurate and it can be proven, Tim Walz needs to be held accountable. Everybody in his administration needs to be held accountable.
You think he's not on the run? You think he don't have some explaining to do? So you've been told this and you still have not done anything about it. You have got to be kidding me. But it's all coming out, people. It's all coming out.
It's time that we find answers to all these questions and hold everybody accountable.
Congressman Chip Roy is coming up, but first, Garrett Tenney has more on this mess. Hi, Garrett.
Hey, Julie, one of the most surprising things about this new alleged fraud in the childcare space in Minneapolis is that it really isn't new at all. There have been reports about this very thing happening since even before Tim Walz took office, and it appears that it has largely been allowed to continue without much interruption. One example of a childcare business that is now under the microscope is
luring. The word luring. That's what they were doing. They were luring. They were luring people to the center. They were bringing their Somalian friends and family to defraud the system, to make fraudulent claims. Please, people, understand. To where they couldn't even spell the word right. And no one said anything about that. That's how egregious it was. They didn't even care. And that's how stupid they think that we are. It's ridiculous, the shit they've been doing. Just blowing smoke up our ass.
Quality Learning Center, or Leering Center, as the sign says. The business is licensed for 99 children, from infants to toddlers, but the business hours are from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. Over the past 3 years, it has been cited for more than 120 violations for all kinds of things, including for not having proper documentation for all of the kids there. Despite that, the local ABC station reported back in January that the business has still been able to receive nearly $8 million in federal tax money since 2019. We've also confirmed that the owners took out more than 200.
Not having proper paperwork and you still... So who's really in this? This is a cover-up that is so big. How are you still receiving your regular allotments from the federal government, but you're not in coherence, you're not in compliance with the government? Bullshit. Bullshit. And we, as the American taxpayers, have been put through the ringer financially. But there's things happening, and we're going to be talking about it over time coming. We will be looking deeper into and sharing with you things that are on the horizon when it comes to information.
$1,000 in PPP loans during the pandemic that were completely forgiven. Nick Shirley says there were similar red flags at some of the other child care centers that he tried to visit in the Twin Cities.
But it's so obvious. If you're living in Minnesota, you have to raise your eyebrows and think, what's going on? Literally, if you drive around Minnesota, around Minneapolis, you'll see daycare centers, autism centers. You will then see transportation companies that have snow piled up as if they haven't moved in months.
After Shirley's videos went viral, FBI Director Kash Patel posted that the Bureau is all over this, saying fraud that steals from taxpayers and robs vulnerable children will remain a top FBI priority in Minnesota and nationwide. The FBI believes this is just the tip of a very large iceberg. We will continue to follow the money and protect children, and this investigation very much remains ongoing. While Governor Tim Walz and other state officials are now claiming that they are taking steps to investigate and to keep this from happening again, remember, these claims of fraud in child care centers are not new. In fact, all the way back in 2018, as Walz was making his first run for governor, sources in the Somali community told our local station, KMSP, that it was an open secret that starting a daycare center and billing the federal government for it was like getting a license to make money. Julie?
Garrett Tenney, thank you. Republican Congressman Chip Roy of Texas, member of the Judiciary Budget and Rules Committees, joins me now. Thank you so much for talking to us. All right, so let's just talk about Walz and his credibility here when he says that he didn't know that any of this was going on when it's such a massive fraud scandal. How could he not know?
Yeah, Julie, great to be with you. I hope you had a Merry Christmas. And,
You too.
you know, it defies all logic and reason to believe that Governor Walz was ignorant of what was happening in Minnesota. Let's be clear. He was campaigning on it last year with respect to the campaign with Vice President Harris in her run for the presidency. He literally was talking about it. Thank God that President Trump won that election. Thank God that we do not have a Harris-Walz presidency, because they would be encouraging this to continue, whereas this president is rooting out the fraud, securing the border, stopping the flow of people into our country. But this is what happens when you have massive welfare programs that are funding people that are coming into our country, whether it's illegally or, frankly, through legal channels that are being abused by the radical left and the Marxists who want this to occur. The Somali community knew full well what they were doing. It's a part of an enterprise-wide effort that's global, tied to the United Nations, tied to the world organizations, NGOs, our own taxpayer dollars that are being used against us while we import people to be put on the welfare state, to be...
And just for your information, 81% of Somalians that are in this country are on some type of government assistance. 81%. 27% are on cash aid. We have only 21% of the nation, Americans, is on cash aid, but you have 27% of the Somalian people on our cash system, as well as 81% overall are on some form of government assistance. But here it is, we as American citizens cannot get additional help for our situations that we find ourselves in, to the tune that they have taken our country off for over $18 billion just in Minnesota. This thing is big, people. And it's more than just Minnesota. I know it's going on in California. It's going on in Georgia. It's going on in New York. And almost anywhere where there's a Democrat footprint, fraud is in the midst. And we're going to find that out. And that's why they hate Donald Trump as much as they do.
Put on Medicaid and to take taxpayer money. It's fraud that has to be stopped, and people need to be removed, deported, denaturalized, and sent back to Somalia.
I just want to know, how are they going to recoup that money? I mean, is that what Walz is now going to concentrate on? Because he says that investigations are ongoing in these centers, but where's the money? And why should taxpayers have to foot the bill? Who's going to end up paying the government back? Or is it going to be the responsibility of Congress, of taxpayers?
Well, importantly, I'm really proud that we've at least put some fraud protection in the big, beautiful bill, working with President Trump and what we did with the work requirements and Medicaid, because we knew that there was ripe for abuse. But we've got to go a lot farther at the federal level, and we've got to hold states accountable. Right now, they know what they're doing, and they're trying to take this money. And by the way, this is the tip of the iceberg. Let's go look at what Gavin Newsom in California, what they're doing with the billions of dollars. And we know there is massive Medicaid fraud going on in California. We've got to stop about that at the federal level and at the state level. And look, one of the reasons I'm leaving Congress to run for Attorney General, Medicaid fraud is a central element of being Attorney General of a state. Keith Ellison was neck deep in all of this. Keith Ellison is friendly with CARE, friendly with groups that are affiliated with the Muslim Brotherhood. All of this stuff is connected. And if we don't recognize that, then we're not going to win this battle, because it's a purposeful effort.
Remember that name, Keith Ellison. He's going to come to the forefront. Remember Obama's Attorney General, Obama's wingman? Remember that name, because he will be very, very instrumental when all of this is unfolded.
To exploit our laws, to allow people to come to this country, try to Islamify our country, and use the welfare state to do it.
Critics are also asking why Congresswoman Ilhan Omar's husband reportedly purged key officer official details from his $25 million venture capital firm.
Hold on. Ilhan Omar's husband? Wait a minute. No, this can't be true. She married to a white man? Wait a minute. How is Ilhan Omar married to a white man? Do we not remember when she made this statement? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me pull up something here. I'm trying to understand. Ilhan the Khan? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on here. Wait a minute. Remember when she made this statement? Wow, wait a minute.
Our country should be more fearful of white man.
Vox, fac.
Of white man? But she ain't scared. She ain't scared. She married a white man. But the country should be in fear of white man? You just can't make this shit up. You just can't make this shit up. Oh, I want to say something. It start with a B about her. Oh, come on, y'all. Make you want to say something. Make you want to go, Let's continue.
To her latest financial disclosure in May, the couple's net worth surged 3,500% in just 1 year. It estimates now putting it anywhere from $6 million to $30 million. Their net worth went up 3,500%. How do you explain that? And then talk about the scrubbing on the website. That doesn't look.
But we ain't supposed to recognize that. Hell no. These dumb motherfuckers here shouldn't recognize that. No. We can do what we want to do. Oh, because you were a white man that you said we shouldn't trust. Oh, so you should be able to stay under the radar because you're married to a white guy. So him having going up like that in 1 year, that shouldn't be a problem, huh? That shouldn't be a problem. Nancy Pelosi, in her term, in her tenure, she's worth over $300 million. Come on, people. But we're going to find out that's why they hate Donald J. Trump so much.
Good. What's Walz doing about that? Is he looking into this?
Well, certainly not. I mean, he's certainly supportive of whatever they're doing. And this is one of the other things that we need to address is the extent to which members of Congress find themselves getting wealthy while they're in Congress. In this case, it appears by being completely in bed with all of the fraudulent activity that's going on in Minnesota. Of course, we should investigate this. Of course, should we look into what they're scrubbing from their website. I think we've got to explore this as far as we can, including...
I'm going to show you something. I'm going to go back. I just want to show you something. I just want to show you something here. This one here. You see that? You know what it looks like? You see her like this? That's what it looks like to me. That's what it looks like to me. She's smiling. I mean, look at it looked like there's a smugness on her face. I don't know who's talking. I like to go back and see who was talking when she stood there like that. But look how I look. Look how I look. That's what every time I see that picture, it look like it's saying "fuck you." That's what it looks like. It is outrageous. This con woman we've allowed to come into our country, and she's been conning us since the day she set foot in America. And she was just 9. But she was thinking then and been thinking ever since.
Is the extent to which members of Congress find themselves getting wealthy while they're in Congress. In this case, it appears by being completely in bed with all of the fraudulent activity that's going on in Minnesota. Of course, we should investigate this. Of course, we should look into what they're scrubbing from their website. I think we've got to explore this as far as we can, including potentially looking into denaturalizing and removing Ilhan Omar if she's violated our laws. And by the way, we should also ban stock trading among members of Congress, since we're talking about the wealth of Congress, and I have a bill to do that, and I hope we will do that next year. Mike Johnson, the Speaker, is working with us to do that. We have got to stop all of this flow of dollars that is corrupting our system, empower the American people to do what they do best. And we've got to pause immigration. I introduced a bill to pause immigration because we've got to stop this massive abuse of our system, using H-1Bs, using diversity visas. President Trump is exactly right to have frozen the diversity visas, to have stopped that, to freeze the flow from countries of concern. Remember that in 1920, when we had a high percentage of people that were foreign born, we froze immigration for 40 years, and our country vanquished, the.
See, they make you think that what Donald Trump is doing, when Donald Trump calls ban on immigration, when he stopped the flow of immigration into our country, we act like that is so foreign and so beneath us, so just outrageous, something just out of the ordinary. We did it back in 1920 for 40 years. 40 years. We stopped immigration from coming in because we felt we had been infiltrated. And now we should know we have been infiltrated more than we ever could imagine. So I support banning immigrations until we get a handle on the people who are in our country.
Nazis in Germany freed the world. We did great things in those 40 years. We can do it again. That's why I introduced legislation to pause immigration. The president's right to do that, and I'm supporting him in that effort.
Okay, meantime, the Trump administration is working to highlight its achievements this year ahead of next year's midterm elections. And commentator Scott Jennings says that one victory is bigger than the rest. What is it? Let's watch.
I think on the immigration piece, it's been his biggest success this year. It's the biggest promise fulfilled. We've had 2.5 million people deported. A significant number of them were self-deported. They used the government's app or just decided to leave the country altogether. I know the left has treated this as some big controversy, but I don't know what's controversial about the president just simply enforcing the laws that are on the books.
And the numbers back that up. The Department of Homeland Security says that more than 2.5 million illegal immigrants have left the U.S. since Trump took office. Nearly 2 million of those electing to self-deport. And the White House also says that 0 illegal immigrants have been released into the United States for 7 straight months. The Democrats call that horrible. What say you?
Well, I do think this is the greatest achievement of the presidency. They've dropped down the flow at the border to 0.
They call not letting any criminals into our community horrible. Horrible. How can you fix your mouth to say that this administration or any administration not allowing criminal aliens, criminal immigrants, not allowing them back into our community is horrible? Like the Maryland dad, I'm going to do something on him. Show you who he truly is and how they turned their heads turned a blind eye to what he was doing, even coming in contact with the police. This is why we need maybe more military intervention. And I use the term into they have came into our infiltrated our country and community. No, I'm gonna give you the better word. We have been invaded. We have been invaded. Our country has been invaded. And Donald Trump and his administration is going to clean up this mess.
We feel it in Texas. We're a much safer and stronger country as a result. The president is right. Tom Homan, Stephen Miller, Kristi Noem, all of the great work of ICE and Border Patrol, they're standing behind them. ICE is removing people that need to be removed. But let's add to that this next year. Let's stop the abuse of our legal immigration system. Let's permanently make reforms so that you can't have H-1Bs and diversity visas that are messing up our country by importing people who are using our welfare system, which you opened this segment with. The president should be congratulated, his entire team, for what they're doing. But we got to finish the job, and Congress needs to codify what the president has been doing so you can't have a future Biden and Mayorkas that destroys the system. Let's pause immigration. Let's reform the system. Let's make permanent changes to back up what the president's done. And by the way, one underreported piece, the SUE Act, which we included in the Lake and Riley Act last January, which was a bill that I authored with Dan Bishop, that was included, which allows states to sue the federal government if they fail to secure the border in the future so that we can stop a future Biden-Mayorkas administration from doing that. We're doing a lot of great things, but Congress needs to back the president up in 2026.
Congressman Chip Roy, thank you, and have a happy new year.
Wow. That's a part of the big, beautiful bill, y'all. Part of the big, beautiful bill says that now the citizens who are affected by illegal immigrations will be able to sue going forward. Any administrations that allow something like what Biden did with Kamala Harris and allowing us to be invaded by foreign immigrants. So let's go over here and let's wrap it up with this right here. We're going to go over here to finish up what I played earlier with Ilhan the Khan and what have you. This is over here. This is Steve Crowder, excuse me, and what he calls her. Let's go over here and see what he calls her, and I'm 1,000% with him. Check it out.
Vox fact-checked it, saying she's pointing out a double standard. Okay, or allow me to present, she's just a piece of shit.
Oh, what?
Reason number two, that I think she's a piece of human excrement. I mean, I could get into the ins and outs. Long story short, she married and consummated with her brother. The next reason, this was actually...
Wait, there's more?
There is more. There's more. Here she is.
Wasn't helping the brother enough?
Here she made a quip about 9/11.
CARE was founded after 9/11 because they recognized that some people did something.
Ah, yes, 9/11, someone did something. And the CCP got into a fender bender in Tiananmen Square. Just sort of remedial here. We shouldn't forget she married her brother. Yeah. Again, I say, that's enough. What a piece of shit. Now...
You should see a doctor.
Here's another one. She made fun of the way that her professor was uneasy when he discussed, and here's the thing, I know it's sort of hard for them to maintain their positions, like not all Muslims are terrorists, but then they get mad if someone sort of, through body language, admonishes Hezbollah or Hamas. She has a problem with that too.
Every time the professor said Al-Qaeda, he sort of like his shoulders went up, and you know.
Yeah, he's in command. Like, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's talking about a terrorist organization. Well, I think we probably.
Yeah. You're supposed to be able to say, mention a terrorist organization with ease. You're supposed to be able to have no issue with mentioning a terrorist organization. It should make you feel nothing. It just should be like water off a duck's back. That's her attitude about mentioning terrorist groups like Al-Qaeda. Are you kidding me? And this is who we have representing our nation, Minnesota in particular, a woman of this caliber, a woman of this mindset? You gotta be kidding me. We know there's fraud going on in Minnesota in many, many ways. Not just the financial fraud that they're doing with these child care centers and with autistic children. It's much, much bigger than that. But we got the administration gonna get to the bottom of it. And they're doing everything in their power to demeaning, to make him look bad. But that's okay, it ain't working. The racist thing isn't working anymore. They say that the reason that they hadn't maybe moved forward with all of these allegations because it didn't want to be looked at as racism or against the Somalians. Who give a damn? We're going for fraud. If the Somalians are behind it, then it's some Somalians behind it. We're looking for fraud, and it's more than just the Somalians. You just one group in one area. But it's a lot of people in a lot of different areas that have been beating our systems throughout the nation. We will see. Let's get back to the piece of shit.
We would say it with the Army of the United States if we had the eradication of the Jews in our country's charter. Here's another reason for you.
Simone.
Last week, she gave this wonderful, cheerful reply to a reporter asking her a question.
Do you think more of your Democratic colleagues should be traveling to El Salvador to advocate on behalf of Rodrigo Garcia?
I think we should
Yeah, you should make like her brother and f*** off. Here's the next one. She talked about and lamented how dumb, I know what you're about to say. No, not Somalis. How dumb Americans are.
The dumbing of the United States has arrived because how else do we get a Trump presidency again?
Fun fact, the average IQ in Somalia is 69. Here's another.
We stupid. I mean, you blatantly call America stupid for deciding who they want to be their president. They're damn sure stupid putting your dumb ass in office. Dumb as fuck putting you in office. But you say we're dumb because we have elected who we wanted to be our next president. You can't make this stuff up. And people should be outraged about it.
According to some divorce filings, she also stole, as her next, a Washington, D.C. woman's consultant husband. Yeah, here's from the New York Post. The cheating spouse told her he was having an affair with the Minnesota pirate woman, then made a shocking declaration of love for Omar before he ditched his current wife. And that one's pretty bad, but again, quick reminder, she did in fact marry her brother.
Omar, who came in here, married her brother or something?
Not even or something. What a massive, festering pile of heated shit.
I would say our country should be more fearful of white man.
Vox fact-checked it, saying she's pointing out a double standard. Okay, or allow me to present, she's just a piece of shit. Reason number two that I think she's a piece of human excrement. I mean, I could get into the ins and outs. Mm-hmm. Long story.
There you have it. Ilhan the Khan and Tampon Tim days are numbered, and they know it. And let me tell you the story about Tampon Tim, the reason we call him Tampon Tim. This retarded ass governor, yes, I said retarded Retarded only means that your mind does not function as well as a normal person. You are slow, artistic. You do not have the capability to think like the average person. Unfortunately, that is called retarded. And that's it. Nobody's offended by the word retarded but ignorant people. I guarantee the retarded people aren't offended by the word retarded. That only means their mind capacity is not normal. That's all it means. So this man, how could his mind be normal to put tampon dispensers in the boys' bathroom? How fucking stupid is that? How fucking retarded is that? That is why we call him Tampon Tim Walz, governor of Minnesota. But their days are numbered. They're going down. It's just a matter of time. Gonna show you Tim Walz is talking about, this is about white supremacy, but you the good white guy. Okay. I'm supposed to trust you. What does white supremacy look like? What does a person who is of white supremacy look like? And if I was hedging my bet, I would say they look like you, Tim Walz. Anyway, I hope that you all have enjoyed this one. And if you have, please like, subscribe, and press all on subscribe. That way you don't miss an episode. And share. And as always, love you and be kind one to another. And by the way, and Happy New Year for all those who celebrated the new year. Have a great year. Till next time, peace.